here. This week, we will talk about precision attack loitering munitions, that is PALM, which can give any defense force an edge against the enemy. And for more on this, we're joined by a distinguished panel of guests. Let me first introduce them to you, beginning with Mr. Manu Pabi, the senior editor with Economic Times. And we also have with us two defense experts, in fact, two former generals, retired Lieutenant General B.S. Pawar and retired Brigadier General P.K. Chakraborty as well with us. Welcome, gentlemen, to Rajya Sabha TV. Let me begin the show, and let me begin with you, General Pawar. Let's start by understanding what exactly is PALM, that is precision attack loitering munitions.
Thank you, Vishal. Before I say that, precision attack today and in the future battlefields is going to be primary form of combat. First of all, it is very cost effective, though the ammunitions are costly. This is the loitering ammunition. Once launched, it goes into the area of operations, looks for the targets, and thereafter attacks the target in self-destruct mode. There are different versions. For example, we've also got those different versions here in India from the Israelis. So, and this will, the best part of this ammunition is that it is low cost compared to the other UAVs like the UCAVs you have. And I would put it somewhere between the UAVs, UCAVs, and the cruise missile, somewhere between that. Now, India, most of the countries, a lot of countries have shown an interest in this. This is one of the latest now, which is affecting. I just want to, connect that India has got this loitering munitions in terms of Harpy and Harop, both from Israel. And our Indian Air Force is operating those. Harop is a later version of Harpy. So the best part of this is that the troops do not get involved. Like, for example, when we carried out the surgical strikes, this was an ideal type of ammunition which could have been used and would have had a pinpoint accuracy and would have gone and struck without, endangering the lives of our men. So basically, loitering ammunition is the future weapon system and is going to be used extensively by various countries. Just to give you an example, these drone attacks of the Russian base in Syria and what happened in Aramco oil facilities in Saudi. These, though we are calling them drones, but basically they were armed and they were fed the data and they went accurately and hit the targets. I mean, this is something like a loitering munition. So I'll cover more later, but this is what loitering ammunition is all about.
Okay, definitely. We'll come to this aspect of how this is being used by defense forces in various countries and what have been the results. But let me first bring in General Chakraborty here as well. General Chakraborty, your views on PALM and its effectiveness.
Firstly, thanks Vishal, thanks General Pawar, and thanks Manu Pabi, whom I'm meeting after a very, very long time. We had lunch together, Manu, at Brigadier Gurmeet Kanwal's place. Sorry. But the issue which I want to come about is my favorite subject, loitering munition. Well, you may find it interesting to note that while I was in service, I dabbled with it quite a lot and tried to get it for the Indian Army. Well, Harop has come, as General Pawar has correctly said, for the Indian Air Force. And basically, we were involved with, shall we say, 3 companies, if I may say MBDA. Then, of course, Israel is someone which figures in everywhere. And next was Lockheed Martin. Believe me or not, we even planned a firing and planned other issues. This was overall for the loitering munition. Now we have come down to what you're calling the PLAM. Now PLAM is now today with 14 countries. Even China has it. So it's nothing which is out of the way. But I agree with General Pawar that precision is a big issue. The PLAM is something which a man can carry in a man-pack form, get even slither down a helicopter, get down, and then be able to launch it. As General Pawar correctly brought out, I just would like to share how it will operate. You see, it's going to be nothing but what you call a mini UAV. The UAV will take off and it will keep loitering. It has got a camera and you've got a GCS, a ground control station. Now, the ground control station will be able to see where the targets are because the camera will be telling you. Now, you may not be able to see the targets. You look at it today, I mean to say we went just now, a few days back, we really didn't know that the targets were there. That is the main issue. Whole issue is to know where's the target and what it is. Once you know the target, you're able to hit it. When I visited Israel, I just want to share, there was a missile called the Delilah. Delilah is supposed to have 0 meters CEP. That means it's bang on target. It came back, submitted a report to everybody. And therefore, what is required is that you need to hit a target at a pinpoint distance. We have an Excalibur ammunition that has a CEP of 5 meters. Precision ammunition, when we talk of, is a pinpoint, and this is going to be pinpoint. And most interesting, you fire a cruise missile, it doesn't come back. Well, from a UCAV, you fire a Hellfire, that Hellfire goes. It may hit, may not hit. The beauty of this particular ammunition is it's going to come back to you. And the most interesting thing which I find, all weather, day, night, and who's going to use it? The same man whom today you're relying most, the man on the ground. As a matter of fact, I would put it that this is something which I really wanted for the Indian Army, and I did my best. But we could not, and somehow we got so many things, but this was one thing which we could not even take it up to the more than the RFI stage. And today also we are at RFI, but for a smaller level. I think give the other.
Okay. We'll come to the other aspects as well, but let's have Manu Papi's initial views as well. Manu, your views on that, as both the journalists are pointing out, quite a lot of advantages, and this is a new age weapon.
It's totally a new age weapon. It's a weapon that has been required by our forces for a long time. In our earlier show, remember we spoke about standoff capability, especially for Pakistan and POK, which has been pushing in terrorists. We need to have capability to hit them from our side of the country without putting our troops in harm's way. So, the type of loitering munitions that we have in service right now, the Haroop and the Harpy, the general brought out, are really big platforms. They're very expensive platforms. They're designed to fly for 6 hours, go 1,000 kilometers, maybe, keep loitering, and then. So they're designed to take down a high value target, like a radar station, a command headquarters. These munitions for which the RFI has come very recently, these are meant for troops on the border. And I think they will be extremely useful for our CI troops, because the problem we have been seeing is that on the Pakistani side, these terror launch pads, these terror camps, they are located very close to the LOC. They're hidden sometimes from direct fire. They are in a small nook and cranny of a hill, maybe in the middle of a congested area. And to hit them precisely with artillery and conventional weapons is not that easy. But a loitering munition like this can really, terrorize the infiltrators, the whole terror network on the other side. And it is good to see the RFI has come out. In fact, it's even better to see if this requirement that we have, it's 100 right now, but I would imagine this requirement, if it really suits out, would be in the thousands. India can also become a manufacturer of this, as we have seen that a joint venture was announced earlier this year between an Indian company and the Israelis to manufacture these in India. So if we have a huge enough number, maybe we can make them here, we can export them in the future. But a great capability addition, I think it is something we should go for. It's a high time that we get something like this. It'll keep our troops protected and give us a credible deterrence against infiltration.
Okay, definitely. So one thing which I could gather from all three of you is that this is a precision ammunition. This also gives that edge to the defense forces and a new age weapon as well. Let's now understand how it has been utilized by other defense forces. As Jan Chakraborty was pointing out, almost more than a dozen countries do have it and is utilizing. General Pawar, you were mentioning earlier about how this has been used by different, armed forces in different theaters of war elsewhere. So what has been the exposure and what has been the result of utilization of this particular kind of loitering munition?
The best part, and what is the most important part, like General Chakraborty brought out, is precision. And once you launch these, be rest assured it's going to hit the target. There's no doubt. So that's where the precision counts and the confidence level in the ammunition counts. And I just want to highlight what Manu said. The Harpy and Harop, these are all in the bigger platforms. Today, if you see any country that is going in for this loitering ammunition, right from whether it's Russia, whether it's the US, whether it's China, they're all going for the smaller versions, which the troops on the ground can use, especially low intensity conflict, in anti-terrorist operations. And in Afghanistan, the Americans have used it to a large extent. They were used in Iraq. They were used. They are being used in Syria. And like I told you, even organizations like the Houthi rebels, I mean, they use those drones. They were just they set the data on it, and those went and hit the target bang on. I mean, just imagine with and low cost. They're not spending any money on it. See, I just want to bring out this RFI that has got issued. I think what General Chakravarti, and I know, because though I had retired, I know he was onto this, that we must get this precision-guided ammunition, these loitering ammunition. And today is a good day. We know in January these people signed the joint venture, and like I said earlier, hopefully we should be getting that. The countries that have used it maximum is Israel. Next is US. And now we see even countries like Turkey, Iran, Iraq, Iran, and even China. China has gone, it's again, China, what they did was, they also took Harpies from Israel. But the subsequent upgraded version was not given to them, the Harop, which they wanted. But China, reverse engineering and all, and they are making versions of Harpy. And also the smaller versions, which are much smaller than that. There are two versions they've got. That is, I think, CH901 and WS43. Again, in the range of about 9 kg, and the other one is about 20 kg. This is what we are also looking at. So you'll find every country, whether it is US, whether it is Israel, Israel has gone for a miniature version of Harop. What Harop we have got, which is having a weight of just about, I think, 3 to 4 kg, but can carry much more warhead. So the trend we see, and what is going to happen is smaller loitering ammunitions, which have capability, and maybe more numbers can be launched at one time, which gives a greater success rate. So that's how all countries are using, and 14 countries are already involved in it who have. And manufacturing-wise, of course, there are only 3 or 4 of them who are doing.
Okay, definitely. This increases the capability of the defense forces, which has this particular kind of munition on in its arsenal, rather. John Chakraborty, your views on this aspect, the way it has been used, the kind of results which are there, and the Indian aspect as well, as both Manu and General Pawar pointed out. The RFI has been issued. But that's where we need to go ahead and put our foot on the pedal out there, push the throttle.
I think well, both of them have covered the issues. I'll go into a little more, on ground. Since I'm, in these areas, including the areas where it's happening right now, way back, I'm talking, and even landed at Daulat Bay, Goldie. I mean, I still recollect, and I was thinking how exactly at that point of time we can engage things. Let me put it to you, please only don't think of CI and CT. Somehow the world has got mesmerized that there's going to be, no operations. I always feel you prepare for the operations. These are all minor issues, CI and CT. What is there in that? You have good intelligence. You can knock out a person. The whole problem I found, I must say, in actually going to targets, I must share with you, believe me, most of the people don't know who is there, even at distances as close as 50 meters by night. I'm particularly talking about mountainous terrain. I'm talking about high altitude, where people have infiltrated in J&K as much as 10 meters away. I have headed courts of inquiry as a general officer trying to find out. And it is these cameras which will be operating by night. I'm saying don't even use the warhead. Let's say in the present standoff, if I had this, I wouldn't have even used the warhead. I would have used the cameras and known what is happening. The whole issue is you don't know what is. I'm sitting in this room. Do I know what is happening in the next room? This is what is the loitering. And I saw this in Israel, by the way. It's something, and then when one went in Northern Command, imagine I was in an appointment, General Balli knows, where my job was targeting and hitting targets and not allowing Manu Pabi to report that so many losses have taken place. Rather, he would report, you don't know that what is happening. So I had to know. And how do I know? I launched these UAVs. Believe me, in you today, you have got herons flying. Because despite all orders, I said that these must fly. The major issue which I want to talk of, therefore, is firstly location. Hitting, the choice is yours. You want to hit it, hit it. You don't want to hit it. You want to follow a peaceful policy which is being enunciated. Please come back. Loiter, come back, reconnoiter. Remember, it can reconnoiter and then get it back. Kalam, I must say, I attended a conference and he was saying, we must have a missile which, if required, can come back. And this was in Bangalore, I recollect. And he was the president of India. He gave a task. It's not enough to have just a cruise missile going and then you salute and say, well, goodbye. A hellfire goes. This is the beautiful thing. It can go, it can recce. You want to use it, use it. You don't want to fire, get it back. Now, imagine, and all this is being done by a soldier. Look at the economic costs, look at everything, and the precision. This is what I would say is the live issue which I can see on ground, applicable everywhere. Height is 4,500 meter. I wish they had made it 5,500. But, well, 4,500 sees, I think, General Balli Pawar is an expert on it. I think it sees all types of flying, above mean sea level, as far as we can see. Thank you, sir.
Okay, Manu, that's a very interesting point brought in by General Chakraborty there, that, it's not only about precisely targeting the enemy, but also reconnaissance. And that's very important in these times.
No, I fully agree with him. And, reconnaissance assets are at short supply with a lot of upfront troops. And this can double up in many roles. Also, as we know, there's been a change in our policy on the borders in the past few years. And we have to look at new ways of escalation, of controlled escalation. So, we have shown that we can do an airstrike without causing a war. We can do a shallow surgical strike without it becoming another Kargil. This, I think, gives India one more option. This is not a UAV. It's not an expensive Predator, a UAV which can get shot down. So you won't lose an asset. Again, it's not an aircraft. Which has to go across or has to be visible. This is a small, system, which even if you lose on the other side, is not that much of a problem for you. But the other side knows that this is the cost that can come about if there's an attack on our posts, if there's a large infiltration attempt. So I think it gives India the flexibility of, stretching the escalation ladder slightly more. And of course, the multi-role capability is very, very useful, very handy, like the general brought out. It can do a role of lots of mission. And I think, again, the value of having such a system is maybe not in using it, but in just the deterrence value of it, that the enemy knows you have this. So, that would make him think twice, maybe thrice before doing anything. And the system is such, you can use it to target, a soldier across or a bridge across, maybe, or just a vehicle or a terrorist camp. So it gives you a wide range of target selection as well.
Okay, definitely, it can be used as a deterrence as well. But the other aspect, Manu, here, and as both the journals are pointing out, that equipping the forward line soldier with this not only gives that confidence to that particular soldier, but also increases our capabilities manyfold.
Definitely. See, it does give you the biggest added advantage of not exposing your troops to deadly fire. And that, I think, is a huge capability increase on our side. A lot of our soldiers, especially in the line of control with Pakistan, are in very exposed positions. They are, we have to remain there because infiltration attempts are very frequent. And we see how these, guerrilla tactics are applied. So it's such a thing. I think you can cover a larger area with perhaps fewer men exposed to risks and a much higher technical advantage over the adversary. And again, as brought out earlier, these are not that expensive systems. They're not as expensive as the Predator drones and, having a Haroop or Harpi out. The one that we are looking to purchase now are on the lower grade of it. And if we can get them in larger numbers, especially producing them in India, It could give you both technology to develop them further, like the Chinese have done. You can make your own line in the future, and you can mass produce them for your own requirements as and when it is felt.
Let me bring in General Pawar here. General Pawar, coming back to the aspects which were being raised by General Chakraborty there as well, and Manu's point also in terms of enhancing the capabilities and giving that confidence booster to the soldier on the front line as well. Reconnaissance is one important aspect here.
Reconnaissance and surveillance is the most important effect. And thereafter, if you have this, you can find the target and you can go and get the target. And I think me and Chakraborty are gunners and artillery people who have been born, and brought up on this reconnaissance, and we've set up centers. I think everything in the Indian Army, the control of entire surveillance centers and reconnaissance and UAVs and everything is judgment of artillery, and both of us belong to it. I'll just cover, there is no doubt this is a weapon and I have no doubt in my mind. The moment it reaches my infantry battalions, like what Chuck's brought out. Imagine the battalion would have had these assets with them. They would have known whether the Chinese have gone back or not. He wouldn't have to physically go there. Look at it, would have saved all those lives. I think such an important facet, just a small item would have given him the information, and he would have reported back, sorry, they are not left. What is the next action? As we go up in altitude, performance of all flying things reduces due to the thin density of it. So, we've got to be very careful when we are asking for, especially the smaller machines, their capability to operate beyond a certain altitude will be a problem because engine power will be less, a lot of other issues. So I think what we have given for the RFI is a very suitable, limit for it to operate. And if it can operate at that, I think that will be an excellent thing. I just wanted to highlight this.
Okay, wonderful. Let's have the concluding comments from General Chakraborty before we bring this show to an end. General Chakraborty?
I was just mentioning, I thought I'll say what the Marines are doing with these in Afghanistan. They have a 3D printer and, they are able to manufacture all these, what you call UAVs and the so-called loitering ammunition over there. And they are able to, even if one goes, it doesn't make a difference. Now, that is the flexibility we are having with this type. And a 3D printer is not a great technology issue. It's something which everybody has. And last of all, which I would say that I think the earlier we get it, the better it is.
Okay, Manu?
I think, what we have been seeing on the borders for the past few months, I think this is a system which will be helpful both on the LAC and the LOC. On the LOC, because you can, use it against infiltrators. On the LAC, which is not defined, but which you need a lot of reconnaissance capabilities with tactical troops on the ground. I think it will be helpful there also. So it's a win-win on both sides. I hope it goes through, and I hope we make this system in India. I hope it doesn't remain an import. It has to be something which we make. Let us become a global leader in this. Let us export it and get technology, build more systems.
Okay, definitely. There it is. Thank you so much, Manu, General Chakraborty, and General Pawar for sharing your views with us on this particular aspect, that is precision attack loitering munition systems, something which is cost effective, which gives a lot of advantage to any defense force against the enemy, and the capability and answer not only in terms of attack, precision attack, but also reconnaissance and surveillance as well. We'll come back again next week with a different topic. Till then, you keep watching Rajesh.